All right, good morning, good evening everyone. Regardless of where you're joining us today, kasama natin ito. I'm so New York. Kasama po natin ngayon Attorney Dino De Leon. The last time I properly had a chat with this gentleman, I think we were competing against each other. I think nag-even naman yung score natin. I think we eliminated each other in different rounds. So medyo parang Leloy rin yan. I mean, Leloy beat me in the grand finals. I beat him in the first game. So I think we're all in good vibes, to use the Gen Z terms. Of course, Dino, just for the purpose of those who want to appreciate more, where you're coming from and all, obviously, you're very much known for your contribution to Senator De Lima's, vindication, legal vindication, among others. Pero ikaw, kilala kita not only from debate days, but also from your own legal activism, including pushing for more accountability on the part of the Duterte administration. First, can you tell us a little bit, why are you so New York?
Well, I got married here. So, alam mo naman, pagdating sa pag-ibig, no?
Wow.
Medyo sinundan natin. Debater din yung wife ko. I think si Kim, no? And then, of course, after that, dito kami stay kasi she has a job here. So, I come to New York every now and then. Of course, I studied here, as you probably know. I studied not in New York, but in Washington, D.C. So after that, of course, it doesn't make sense then not to look for opportunities here, which is why we're also setting up a branch of our firm here. One of the reasons why I'm here. So, but of course, we choose Philippine practice, even though, as I was telling you a while ago, even though minsan ay parang ayaw tayo piliin ng bansa natin, no? Even though we have a lot of opportunities here in the US, working for international organizations, for example, especially after I studied here, may mga offers, but I realized that I declined and I'm still not yet ready to leave Philippine practice. So I'm still practicing in the Philippines.
Wow, wow, that escalated very fast. Okay, kwentong pag-ibig, hugot about the Philippines. I mean, also that was the context why you went to Georgetown for your Master's of Law, because your wife was transitioning also to there.
Yes, I took my wife is based here already. We've been together, we're girlfriend, boyfriends for 8 years before I got married last December. If you would recall, thank you, after the May 2022 elections, lumipad na ako right after, no?
Right.
It's because I was set to take my masters here in the US. Kasi binigyan ako ng taning pag hindi pa ako pupunta dito. 8 years na kami long distance relationship.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Di ba mahirap
8
na,
years.
masyado ng patient.
Oh,
8 years
wow.
na long distance relationship, no. So that's why I studied here. That's the only reason actually I didn't have plans to study specifically in the US. I was considering Europe more, apart from the fact mas mura yung LL doon. Di ba? Mas gusto ko rin European vibe dati. No, ngayon mas gusto ko na rin dito sa US, no. So that's the reason why right after I left.
But you went to Washington D.C., which has a very European vibes. I mean, D.C. is, diba? It gives you that I mean, not to mention New York to a lesser degree, but so you're not too far away from where you want to be. Of course, you have many of our friends like sila Neil, among others. I think a lot of our friends went to Hague, right? And
Yes.
more went into the international humanitarian law kind of direction. But then again, I mean, I'm always proud of seeing Filipinos like you. I mean, whether it's Leloy, whether it's you, a lot of our peers and colleagues doing very well all across the world. But of course, one thing I also appreciate with you, Dino, is also, alam ko hindi madali yan, not to mention, hindi madali yung long distance relationship, hindi rin madali yung having one foot in Manila and also one foot in New York, or on the other side of the ocean, actually almost 2 oceans away. But can you tell me again, how do you do this balance and what keeps you invested in the Philippines? I mean, without being too sentimental, Gilas Pilipinas Puso about this. Kasi I hate yung mga puso-puso, okay? I mean,
Oo, tsaka wala akong sabi ko, wala akong messianic complex, I wanna save the world, pretending to be wala akong ganyang mga pretensions, no? Pero, it's really because I enjoy Philippine practice, that's one. Iba yung action di ba? Iba yung level of action eh. Sige, fine. Let's say, for example, I go to
daming ganap.
World Bank. Oo. I go to IMF, I go to World Bank. Your client is the IMF and the World Bank. Mas malaki nga yung sweldo. Pero sa Philippines, ang daming ganap, ang daming action, di ba? Kaya parang hindi pa rin ako ready. Of course, the income is not the same, di ba? Essentially, I am spending in dollars, earning in peso. Ang layo nun, in the most expensive city in the world, which is New York. So
the worst combination.
The worst combination. And it's really, really tough because 12-hour time difference, diba? So I meet with my clients in the morning. So I'm basically like night shift here. So I work at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. here, all the way up to 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. sometimes. No, kasi hanggang gabi naman yung Manila time. So basically, I do Manila time pa rin. That's make it tough. That's the reason why it's very tough. Pero the reason why I'm staying, apart from the fact na ma-action, di ba? Feeling ko, I'm building my firm kasi. No? So we started as a 3 lawyer firm. We're now close to 20 lawyers. I think we're one of the biggest na rin in Quezon City area. Wala kasi malalaking law firm sa Quezon City. Usually Taguig, Makati, BGC. Yun yung mga usually na locations. And then sa QC na kami. So very happy naman ako. And at the same time, establishing rin yung firm here. So I see a lot of opportunities too. So it's not just because I wanted to contribute to the Philippines, although that's part of it. It's also because it will make financial sense in the future. And ayoko na rin, in our age siguro rin, Richard, di ba? Ayoko na rin kasi ng may boss. So sometimes, pagka babalik ako dito, to be an associate lawyer again, di ba? Parang ayoko na pag-associate. I'm already a partner, di ba? Parang ayoko nang to relieve that. And if I get a job here in the US or international organizations, parang hindi na
Supplementary na
yun
lang
yung
siya.
vibe ko. Oh, hindi na yun yung vibe ko. So that's why I'm also staying. Apart from the Philippines being my home, I wanted to contribute.
So diskarte, hindi lang puso. I mean, Dino, this is where you were supposed to say na dahil nakikinig din ako sa podcast ni Hey Darian among others that keeps me going habang naglinis ng
Every day,
pintahan.
Every day. Alam mo, you've lived abroad, di ba? Dito ako natuto ng gawain bahay, maglalaba ka, magpaplansya ka, maghuhugas ka ng pinggan, magluluto ka, mag-gym ka, self-care and all. And then the only thing that makes sense is to actually listen to a podcast eh. Or sometimes hindi ako super religious, pero I also play yung podcast na prayers while washing the dishes in the morning, di ba, pray the rosary. So mas nakakapag-rosaryo pa ako dito kaysa sa daming ingay dun sa Pilipinas eh. And then I listen to your podcast every day, every day. I go to when I go to the gym, I run, I listen to your podcast. At saka ang ganda kasi yung napansin mo wala tayong news masyado na podcast in the Philippines. Walang news eh. Parang meron lang yung sa ANC that's 1 minute lang siya, hindi yung in-depth news. So I listen to global news, BBC, I listen to New York Times, The Daily, and I listen to your podcast. Yun yung tatlong araw-araw ko. Ba, New York Times ka, tsaka BBC Global News Podcast, and then the Richard Herdarian Show.
Ito yung Philippine Daily mo. Ito yung Philippine Daily mo.
Daily.
And then of course, I in my own little ways, I try to always bring in the comparative perspective kasi I'm kind of doing what you're doing in a sense that like every week every week and month I kind of out of the country but na-miss ko kagad ang Pilipinas. Daming ganap sa atin eh. I completely see where you're coming from. Madali ma-bored abroad. Wala silang problema. Walang traffic, walang stress. Di ba? Parang madidepress ka na. So I understand.
Iba yung quality of life. Lagi ko naisip yung parang ano bang hindi deserve ng mga Pilipino yung sipag nila everyday. Honest to yung sipag nila everyday, yung sabi mo kahapon ba yan, yung masastuck sa traffic, ng ang tagal-tagal, wala na time to do politics. Totoo yun kaya sobrang nakarelate ako dun sa podcast mo yun na parang it's because people here have the time. Hindi yung pagod na pagod ka na. Kaya ang general attitude din ng maraming Filipinos is, pwede ba happy-happy na lang tayo? Pwede ba magsaya na lang tayo kasi yung stress nila everyday na 8 to 5 pero gigising ka ng 6, 5 a.m. para na makapag-commute tapos magko-commute ka ulit pa uwi. Everyday yun tapos wala kang man lang mapuntahang parks, public parks, pupunta ka dun sa malls para magpalamig, lalo ka pang mako-commodify kasi parang ang daming mga consumerist doon na hindi mo afford, 'di ba? So talagang yung nakukulang yung humanity side and human side ng Filipinos kasi everyday grind sila as opposed to be able to contemplate about these things. So I really completely agree with you. And so hopefully, di ba, those things can change. Tama ka, minsan nararamdaman talaga, minsan nakaka-depress. Kasi hindi nga deserve ng mga Pilipino yung ganong buhay, di ba?
Which brings you more respect for the heroic commitment that some of our kababayans have dito sa ating politika in spite of yung daily grind, di ba? Yung isang araw kasi I had to drive myself talaga and all of that and back to back. Talagang na-drain na ako. And I was saying, if I put myself in the shoes of a person who has to go through this every single day without, I mean, international travels are tiring, but at least it comes with some sort of pizzazz, right? This is just soul crushing, no? So, to be committed to politics, to care about, little things we have, little podcasts we have, parang lalong umakyat ang respeto sa mga kababayans natin na in spite of everything, they still care, they still hope. So ako, for me, Dino, parang minsan nahihiya ako if I don't care enough for the country, considering that many people with far fewer privileges are giving perhaps even more than me, diba? And that always shames me into sense of duty and all of that. Now, obviously, kayo kasi mga Lasal kayo, kami mga UP kami, so sanay na kami to watch our own. Ayan na, I had to
Alam mo
put
naman
that
kami
in.
mga Lasal, medyo cowboy kami,
Hindi,
Nag-relate
joke lang, joke.
isa kami sa mga cowboy.
Matinee na lang ilaglag natin sila Lelord. Mas
Wala naman
Konya
si
sila
Lenoy
eh.
dito eh.
Wala.
Wala.
Yeah, pero may similarity yung life story trajectory niyo. Although he doesn't share as much about his hugot as you, but my sense is my similarities. And of course, you're all my colleagues and friends, and I'm extremely proud of what you guys have achieved. And Lelo, just like you, mukhang nakikinig every day din to keep abreast of what's happening in the country. So in a sense, even if he's based in Berkeley, he's always very updated sa mga nangyari dito and making sure na in his own little way, he can also contribute to scholarship and understanding
I
the...
wanted to say lang di ba,
Please.
binasa mo ba yung libro ni Patricia Evangelista?
Oh yeah, I read that already.
Yeah,
Immediately.
exactly. So very proud din tayo dyan sa colleague
Of
natin na
course,
yan, na
another
debater.
Peter.
Ano,
Yeah,
nagpapag-university,
medyo
diba?
overachiever ang batch natin kaya
In fairness, di ba? So I was reading it, di ba may discussion doon nung nag-ano pa siya, ESU Public Speaking Champion. When I was delivering my debate workshops, lagi kong kinukote rin kasi yung ano niya. Sabi ko, laging yung speech niya for strong start and strong ending, di ba? Yung snowflakes in my window, di ba? Yung ganon. So natutuwa lang ako na, ang ganda kasi nung ano, tapos nung binabasa ko yung libro niya, I feel like up close kung nakita yung buo. Kasi during the time na dina-document yung war on drug, very active na rin ako. I had to resign to my from my law firm. That's why I volunteered for Laila de Lima. I actually was there during Kian's wake, wearing shorts alone in Caloocan. And doon ko first time na smell meron palang smell yung despair. Doon ko first time yung despair, yung sobrang bigat talaga. May smell siya, yung despair. I went there alone, naka-shorts ako, just to take a look at the situation. I was still an associate lawyer in a Makati-based law firm pero hindi ko kasi kaya na yung patayan nun. Sabi ko, hindi ako makatulog. So I went there alone. No? Tapos doon ko naramdaman talaga yung despair. Bottom line is, nung binabasa ko yung Patricia Evangelista documentation from her debate days all the way up to what was happening right now, sabi ko, parang napanood ko rin yung buong buhay ni Patricia Evangelista. Parang sobrang up close rin yung interaction namin. Kasi di ba, I remembered when the Square of Debates, yung ANC Square of Debates, which during our time we won, di ba? She was the producer during that time. So sabi ko, kita ko talaga yung buhay ni Patricia right from the start that she
siya yung
started.
producer, no?
Siya yung producer when I during my final year as a debater when we won against Ateneo, di ba? Yan yung dire-diretso na nakita ko talaga yung ano ni Patricia from bata kami since high school debater yan eh. High school debater ako nung nasa STC pa siya, captain siya doon. Nakita ko na yan. Di pa ako marunong noon. I was just starting out kasi mas senior natin siya ng konti, di ba? Mga 2-3 years or senior yata yan.
Yeah, 2 years.
Patricia.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
2 years yun. So nakakatuwa lang kasi yung mga contemporaries natin, we see naman na they're doing their fair share in fighting the despotic regime that was.
Yeah, a very good transition. No, obviously now we're going to transition to war on drugs and your involvement with Senator De Lima's case. On this thing with Patricia, yeah, I mean very visceral siya, no? Because you know exactly what she's referring to. You can trace where you were when these moments in history happened. And to have some of your peers being part of history and also writing the first draft of history, right? Each of us in our own ways, makes you feel more responsible. Kasi ito na yung naging struggle ng generation natin eh. You know, we were born after EDSA, diba? Practically all of us. So we had no idea about the days of dictatorship. So this is the closest we came to seeing the complete overturn of our political freedoms and system, despite all the imperfections, which, I mean, you and I, we never romanticized the Philippine political system. All of us naman very critical tayo sa trapo politics, corruption, and all of that. But this was next level. This was something very crazy. I want to ask you about that, the Kian de los Santos moment, before we talk more about the Leila de Lima, Senator de Lima's case. You know, I have some friends, some of them actually, I also interviewed them on my podcast, who they were so shocked by that moment, right? That some of them, they just temporarily lost hope in our country. Like, kind of like, what kind of country allows this to happen? Hindi, and lalo sila na-depress nung minute ni Digong yung pamilya, and then parang, I don't know what term, appeasement is the most positive term I can use there, right? I can think of other terms, but I want to show all respect to the family and the victims. And parang nakaka-depress yun na eventually parang they were essentially forced not to assert the case, di ba? Although of course eventually it went through the legal process and all, but kung hindi yan nahuli on CCTV and so brazenly, I doubt even that level of justice and recognition would have come. At the emotional level, because I understand you're also a man of faith, at the emotional level, how are you dealing with it, and how did it resonated with your more spiritual side, in terms of struggle, in terms of despair, right? You said my
Smell.
despair, di ba? May scent
Oh,
siya eh.
scent.
Probably it's also chemical reactions that people have, di ba, when they're in total moment of this. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So nag-start yan, di ba? Alam naman natin. So medyo meron naman talaga akong human rights inclination, di ba? I come from the LSU Law School, and I'm part of the first batch. It was set up precisely for human rights and rule of law. I didn't even take the exams of other schools, no? So that's where
with Attorney Jokno, with Dean
Dean
Jokno.
Chel. So I'm the first batch of Dean Chel, no? First product niya. Sana naman maging proud siya. Kung proud siya, lagi naman kami magkasama sa mga cases, no? Anyway, so meron na rin talagang human rights inclination. But I was working with one of the largest firms during that time, no? I was living in a condo in Pasay, no? Pag naalala ko, kasama ko si Robin Silverino, remember, may debate partner, di ba? So kasama ko rin sa condo
Alright,
noon.
yeah.
Yes. So bababa kami, bababa kami, naalala ko, wala pang water kasi bagong lipat kami. Bibili kami doon sa sari-sari store. Pag may nakikita kaming pulis, lawyer na ako dito ha. Pag may nakikita kaming pulis, alam mo, bumabalik kami papasok. And it is a condo, it's a new condo. Tatakbo na kami papasok, uhaw na uhaw kami. Sabi ko, okay na, wag na lang tayo lumabas. Bukas na lang ako iinom ng tubig. Imagine, somebody who's from LaSalle, who's from a political family. I'm from a political family. My mother is also a lawyer, professionals, and lawyer myself. Privilege, basically, nakakakita ng pulis sa Pasay, nagtatago, tatakbo na lang, akit na lang, magkukulong na lang sa room. Imagine na lang yung takot ng mga tao who always are seeing firsthand the raids during that time, the murders, diba? And doon, so yung mga time na yun, so everyday doon marami yung count, may Rappler count, everyday nakikita ko yun, pinapanood ko yung Rappler count. Yun, medyo nade-depress na ako. And then nangyari yung kay Laila De Lima, that's why I volunteered na. Bago pa makulong si Laila, we didn't know each other, by the way. I had no connections with Laila De Lima whatsoever. When there was a time na nagpapatawag na siya ng councils, pipito lang kami dumating. Kasi sabi niya, ikukulong na ako, alam niya na. Tapos, that's the only time that I saw Laila De Lima cry, by the way. I never saw her cry. Never saw her cry. That was the time na sabi niya, she cried. 7 lang kami sa room, no? Ang sabi niya, why is it that I'm so alone? Imagine mo, nagpatawag siya ng lawyers, Secretary of Justice dati to ha, Chairperson of Commission on Human Rights. Walang pumunta. Pumunta ako, hindi niya ako kilala. I was such a young lawyer. Allergic sa kanya lahat ng tao. Tapos she cried, gumanon siya. Sabi niya, why is it that I'm so alone? Why is it that I'm so alone? Why is it that ako lang ang nagtatanong? So yun yung moment na sabi ko, okay, hindi pa ako umalis sa law office noon. Nag-join ako kay Laila De Lima kasi nakakulong na siya. Pero nag-volunteer ako only to give advice, to draft. Hindi niya pa ako official lawyer. Anyway, tapos nangyari yung kay Kian de los Santos, nangyari yung kay Carl Arnaiz, nangyari yung kay Kulot, dire-diretso. And for me, meron siya yung discomfort sa spine. Yun yung feeling ko particularly. Pagka nakikita ko siya ng mga time na yun, parang may nararamdaman ako dito sa spine, parang may discomfort. That bothers me even up to when I sleep. So may mga times na parang hindi ako makasleep kasi parang may nararamdaman akong something bothering in my spine. Parang gano'n yung parang may masakit na nangangawit. Parang yun yung biggest closest description ko. Parang nangangawit yung likod ko because of all of the things that were happening. It bothers me. I can't sleep. So basically, I don't know if that's the effect of conscience, no? So going back to your question, no, how did it parang in my spirituality, as a man of faith, 'di ba? How did it resonate with me hanggang sa time na nasa Makati ako noon, I had to, dress up, nag-shorts ako para hindi naman halatang lawyer, to go there to see for myself. I was alone. What was happening? I think it's all because of the of maybe the conscience that we have na this shouldn't be happening in our country. So that's the first time na I went out, no? And then the second time siguro publicly I went out na to defend Laila De Lima, although hindi pa ako hindi naman ako out in the open pa nun eh. I was a council of record. I was the most junior in the team during that time. But wala pa ako noon. The first time that I came out, I think publicly na talagang publicly was the petition for mandamus asking for Duterte's health records, if you would recall that, no? So during
Right,
the
right.
peak of the
Yeah,
pandemic, I think that was
exactly.
the
I
first time
remember
na
that.
parang,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
sino ba tong ano na to, bakit, kasi takot lahat ng tao nun eh, lahat tayo nakakulong sa mga bahay natin, di ba? Even yung mga nasa subdivisions in Makati, talabas lang sila, kukunin sila, 'di ba? Ninugugod pa ng pulis sa sa floor during that time. Pagka lumabas ka, dahil wala ka lang face mask, huhulihin ka ng pulis. Parang it's a military response. Basically, it's not a medical response. It was a military response. Everyone was so afraid of the absolute power. And then we had Duterte who was um, doing his press conferences that were akin to a drunken monologue at the wee hours of the night. I was also genuinely super afraid during that time, which is why I asked the question. And it doesn't take rocket science to know that this person is not well at that point in time, di ba? Hindi siya psychologically well. And then takot ako for me. Natakot ako for me and for my family na yung chief executive natin mukhang hindi alam ginagawa in the in a potentially what could wipe out humanity in the planet. Di natin alam nung oras na yun kung anong mangyayari sa pandemic, di ba? There was a lot of uncertainty. So always it's because I think meron talaga tayong pre-beliefs, no, and values in our na pag natatouch or natatapakan, we fight back. And din sabi sa akin ni Teddy Regroso, who's our lead counsel, no? Every time siguro na may nang aape, may oppressors, lagi namang may magsa-stand up and will generate a counter force, di ba? Rule of physics ba yan? Na pagka merong isang force na grabe yung oppression niyan, there will always be a counter force. And siguro, at least tayo yon yung struggles na yun, kahit na yung counter force na yun, medyo mahina, as you said in your podcast, di ba? 2 days ago with Ronald, mahina pa yung counter force, 'di ba? Pero at the very least, it's a reason for us to continue hoping.
Yeah, I mean, for me, of course, the spiritual side in me always believes that there should be a counter force. There will be a counter force almost theologically. At the same time, of course, I'm also critical of this whole liberal theology kung saan essentially, I mean, this liberal catechism essentially na, oh, don't worry, there'll never be dictatorship. There'll always be a counter force. Well, Marcos was there for 21 years, which makes you quite doubt the ability of our civil society to withstand, a very determined and disciplined assault on our democracy. And I really credit of, among others, the Philippine military. The AFP played an extremely important role. I mean, if bumaliktad sila Lorenzan or Anyo among others, I think the game was almost over. 2017 pa lang nung panahon ng martial law in Mindanao. So I think there are a lot of also unsung heroes here, in addition to, of course, the civic heroes that we have mentioned a while ago. Ako naman for us is I just didn't know how to live with myself if I didn't do my own little part. And at the same time, I completely also understand the sense of loneliness that Senator De Lima had. I mean, I was actually quite shocked at how atomistic all of us were, in a sense that we were all being like trolled and attacked almost in an isolation. Na parang there was no wall of resistance and all. Kasi, if you attack one of them, you want trolls, all of them will attack you back. But I felt there was no that kind of symmetry and all of that. And I think that really exposed the lack of solidarity. Na silos din tayo. I mean, each of us have our own little group of support system and all of that, which always makes me realize we have to do a lot in terms of building that networks of solidarity. And unfortunately, mukhang na-expose, no? Because I remember always in political science, they teach Philippines, weak state, strong society. But what I saw was a strong man, weak society, right? Forget about the state institution. It almost withered away. It became a one-man's kind of a toy to play with. But at the same time, I think I won't underestimate the spiritual struggle. I think lahat tayo tumanda. I mean, hopefully not physically as much. Nagre-recover naman yata tayo, diba? But I think spiritually, a lot of us had to really level up. Because otherwise, you should be really manhid, or I would really question your moral foundations if you were not shocked into conscience. I mean, insane. Like, look at the amount of reaction we're seeing around the world to 20, 30,000 Palestinians killed, right? With massive bombings and all of that. In our country, probably the same number of people that were killed without bombs. I mean, just guns. I mean, imagine how much of sustained violence you need to achieve what's being achieved right now in terms of horror through massive bomb dropping on the whole city, right? So that just gives you a sense of scale of the tragedy that befell the country. How did you get over the fear factor? Did you have support systems? Were you at times also like, bahala na, I mean, if this is it, then let it be. This will be probably my little legacy. Because there were times, honestly, on my side, parang, you never know. I mean, you never know. I mean, all my cars are like totally black tinted and all. I had to, I always have a jeter if there's a motorbike passing until today, almost even abroad, diba? And that's something you just have to accept if, you just go with grace, diba? I mean, if whatever is God's wish, then so be it, diba? Ikaw, what were your coping mechanisms, if I can put it that
Di
way?
ba, sabi mo, gusto ko na sabihin yung tumanda tayo I mean, totoo tumanda tayo and alam mo nung time kasi na nagpi-peak si Duterte, young pa tayo Wala pa tayong networks. Tama di ba? Wala pa tayong masyadong networks. We were trying to make we're trying to still make
20s
it.
tayo. We were all like 20s.
Di ba? Correct. So sobrang bata pa natin. In fact, like ko sinasabi, like nung final ko yung petition for Mandamos asking for Duterte's health records. Like ko sinasabi, this is beyond my pay grade and age grade. Somebody else more senior should be doing this. And in fact, I called up so many people to represent me, to co-sign with me. At that point in time, no one was willing. But they reviewed the pleading. 'Di ba? Why? I understand them 'di ba? Kasi during that time, parang sobrang nakakatakot kasi nga parang absolute power si Duterte, militarized sa labas ng bahay mo, may military outpost, hindi ka makalabas, 'di ba? Merong mga community quarantines. Remember during that peak, that was the time when I filed the case. So going to your question na paano ka nag-cope? Actually, nung fina-file ko yung kay Duterte, pinigilan ako, my mom is a lawyer. She's the immediate past president of the Alpha Phi Omega sorority. The first woman president to head the national organization, and it's one of the biggest fraternities, di ba? Medyo sangga, no? So can you just imagine gano'ng katapang yung mom ko na national president of a fraternity, pero first woman, first lady president, di ba? Pero at that point in time when I was about to file, huwag mo na i-file. Tapos nakiusap siya, parang kasi nakita ko yung mom ko na naghihina kasi natatakot siya for me. And then kahit yung wife ko, si Kim, sabi niya, pwede bang wag na. Pero ganito sabi ko, sige, I will go to the firm, I will finalize the pleading, and then I will check whether I'm at peace. And then when I was driving, walang sasakyan to sa kalye. Nag-drive pa rin ako, walang sasakyan, bawal ang sasakyan. So sabihin ko na lang, may filing ako, urgent, papakita ko yung IBP card ko, pero wala pa yung mga IDs nung time na yun Ang na-realize ko, I was trembling, no? Takot ako. So kung takot ka, di ba? Takot ka talaga. Pero doon ko na-realize at that point in time na I never want to decide something out of fear. Yun yung biggest realization ko. I would never want to decide something out of fear. Kasi that feeling ko, which is, again, medyo spiritual, di ba, the greatest gift of the Lord to us is our free will. In fact, hindi nga siya mapapasok sa puso mo anytime, di ba, without your consent. Yan lagi sinasabi ng Catholic Church. So, parang feeling ko, pati ba naman yung free will ko, iti-take away from me. Yun yung nasa isip ko kay Duterte, pati pala free will ko makukuha niya. So, sabi ko, I never wanted to decide out of fear. So if the question is, was I afraid? I was very afraid, di ba? Pero sabi, di ba, the courage is not the absence of fear, but having the will to face such fear, di ba? So yun yung ano ko. So right now, kung tatanungin, hindi ka ba natatakot? Natatakot ako. Pero kung nakamaster ko siguro yung courage to face my fear, yun, siguro tinuruan din tayo sa debate kasi pagkalaban mo sila Richard Heydarian, kalaban mo sila Leloy Claudio, tapos haharapin mo sila, medyo may takot ka rin ng konti, di ba? Pero haharapin mo, hindi halata. Hindi ka magpapahalatang may takot ka, di ba? Gano'n naman yun So maybe because of our debate training days of 10, 15 years.
Kapalan ng mukha, di ba?
Oo, 15 minutes, di ba? Di ba? Magpe-prep ka 15 minutes talking about the biggest issues. So medyo nagkaroon na rin ng siguro na implant yung courage. But at the same time, of course, medyo matapang rin naman yung family. I don't know, parang tayo Ilocano, and then I'm a Singson,
Medyo
right? So
Gabriela silang. Yeah. Well, you're a Singson. Exactly. I mean, you
I'm a
have the
Singson.
backup. Yeah.
So correct. So siguro naman, magkamali naman siguro sila pagka medyo pipitasin nila ako, di ba? Kasi alam mo naman, utang warlord, di ba? Na pagpitasin mo one of us, kailangan may pipitasin
Gera.
mo kita.
Solid North yan.
Gera, okay. So I mean, I wouldn't pretend that I'm in a privileged sweet spot as well to confront the dictator. And I'm sure na parang they would have second thoughts in terms of confronting me. Aside from the fact na hindi na naman ako ma-allege na pula, hindi nila ako marentag. Never ako narentag in my life eh. Paano naman magiging pula eh?
Lasal
Lasalista,
ka.
Catholic school all the way.
Exactly.
Hanggang
Yan ang
Masters of
problema
Law.
namin. Yan ang problema namin. Taga-UP, except masyado rin ako konyo, kaya hindi rin ako mag-retag. But I think that's a very important point, which is you actually embrace your privileges and then also the responsibility that comes with it, right? Instead of panggap mo na wala kang privileges or hide behind your privileges, it's really actually leveraging the privileges to do the right thing, di ba? Otherwise,
A little bit of embarrassment of, hindi naman ako rich, di ba? Pero parang the closest economic theory is embarrassment of the richest, di ba? Alam mo ng privilege ka, alam mo may access ka to good education, alam mo may access ka to good network, alam mo may access ka kahit paano to resources, and then papanoorin mo yung nangyayari. Apart from the fact na sabi ko nga sa'yo, I'm Catholic school from grade school all the way to Masters of Law. Di ba? Tapos meron ka talagang nababother ka and then you will not make use of the resources given to you. For me, medyo a little bit sinful. Kaya hindi ko rin siguro matalikuran yung Philippines right now, di ba? Na parang pwede namang marami kang ma-access dito na other opportunities. Pero sabi ko, hindi pa ako ready to let go Philippine practice. Feeling ko, we should all, I'm sure ikaw din, di ba? We should all play our role, no matter how small it is. Ang lagi ko naman sinasabi dyan, it's our fair share. I don't have a messianic complex. I don't wanna, I don't pretend that I will save the world. I don't have political ambitions too. Sabi ko, parang hindi ko siya, it's not my thing, right? But hindi rin ako nagsasabi na parang close yung possibility yung in the future. Kasi kung yun yung call of duty, di ba? Yun yung binigay sa yung mission at that point in time. Kaya parang feeling ko, yung, by the way, I was designated as spokesperson of Laila. Hindi ako kinonsult ni Teddy Laila, nasa post ko nga siya honoring it. Hindi ako kinonsult. One day, nagising na lang ako, spokesperson ka, ikaw magpa-file nung COC ni Manay. Manay kasi tawag nila kasi Bicolano, di ba? Sabi ko, bakit ako? Tapos ikaw magka-campaign, ikaw magiging bakit ako? Tsaka lang, ba't di mo ako tinatanong Sabi ko, ba't di mo man lang ako tinatanong na parang baka sabihin nila, ganyan. So ang dami ko ng impressions in my head na parang, bakit ako? Ang dami naman mas senior dyan, no? So, pero dahil medyo meron tayong mission ready, duty calls, I feel like nako-conscript tayo sometimes. And it's important for us to recognize along the way na we have these privileges and we have to use these privileges to at least do our fair share. Ang lagi ko sinasabi, fair share lang hindi yung baka naman overly tingin mo the
That's
world
the
is
thing.
relying on you,
But Dina,
over-import.
I wanna tell you something. Let's be honest. The politics is of course quite depressing and challenging, but overall the Philippines is a country on the move. I mean, this is the message I'm sending all across the world. There's a quiet rise to this country, one of the fastest growing economies, building up our resistance in the West Philippines Sea, among others, in spite of our bad politicians. So imagine the level of sacrifice that our kababayans, OFWs, little professional folks like you and me are making to our country. Kaya ako, parang parang history is happening here. Diba? Nakikita mo dito, gumagalaw yung kasaysayan Unlike dun sa Western world, arrive na sila. Although US is a mess, ibang usapan na yan. But sige, I will freeze US. But nevertheless, diba? Nakikita mo na there's a dynamism here, a fluidity that perhaps also interests the mind and the soul, right?
I always say, I went to the Hague Academy as well, no? And I always tell my friends there, no, you should come visit the Philippines. It's really a dynamic economy. It's a young population. It's very promising. It's a very beautiful country. And I agree with you. Meron ka ring podcast na we're a mid power. Hindi tayo small power, di ba? We're a mid power. We have to be able to harness that. And I always tell my clients, I have a client who's setting up, I think, an insurance company. No, sabi niya, why the Philippines? May ganun pa siya sa akin, why the Philippines? Sabi ko, you don't have to tell me why the Philippines. I know for a fact that if we get our acts together, all data shows that we're gonna be part of G20 by 2050. Diba? I think we're set to leapfrog to become 16th or 17th largest economy per data of HSBC, even the
I mean, by purchasing power parity, will be already number 15 in 4 years, 2027.
in 4 years.
In
For
4
purchasing
years,
power.
purchasing
Pero
power.
the size of the economy.
Yeah, this is in purchasing power parity, but in nominal terms, we're easily top 30 soon, and hopefully moving towards the top 20. So yeah,
Talaga, ngayon ko na nakuha yung 15th dun sa in
sa
terms of
purchasing power parity to. Yeah. So if
wow.
kasi syempre, $1 is worth more in the Philippines than in the US, right? In terms of what you can purchase. So if you measure economies by purchasing power parity, Philippines is actually twice larger than in nominal terms. So actually, we're pretty large economy if you look at it. And the food scene, the cultural scene. Again, I know this is screaming privilege. And as an Ilocano, I don't want to talk about gastos, di ba? You know that. Maybe you're the more privileged Ilocano, but I'm impressed by how the food scene, the cultural scene in the Philippines is moving upwards. Na, you know, when I'm abroad, I'm not like, I want to fine diner kasi hindi mo makuha sa Pilipinas. Hindi. Parang, oh, nice here, nicer. And then I'm just comparing notes. All these James Beard Awards our folks are winning, whether Filipinos, Filipino Americans. I mean, there's more recognition of also our cultural contribution to the world beyond the usual poverty porn and all of that. Kasi doon ako naiinis you know, always the covers of the Philippines used to be poverty porn. They ask about war, conflict, deaths. Kaya ako, whenever I get a chance,
Story.
yeah, exactly. You know, whenever I get a chance to talk to the Farid Zacarias or Amanpours of this world, I want to talk about one of the biggest democracies in the world, a force who's at the linchpin of, you know, geopolitics. If you want to get on, like, talk about that part. Or when BBC was here, for instance, right, that big event, I tried to make sure na wag nila kalimutan na Philippines is also becoming a player. Like, I don't know, Poland is becoming a player in Eastern Europe. Yung mga forgotten countries na great dati, ngayon medyo bumabalik na sa at least middle power. So I'm sure your investment in QC, you know, being one of the biggest firms here, will pay off in 5 to 10 years. I mean, because the future is very bright for some of these big cities. So in short, I know you're still Ilocano deep inside, in a sense that you're making
Sana wag na
practical
makabalik si
considerations.
Duterte. Sana wag na makabalik yung mga Duterte kasi I
Yun
see
lang.
a lot
Yun
moving
lang.
parts right now, a lot of things getting better. Pero kung andyan na naman yung patayan, grabe na naman yung, alam mo yon, yung Davao Syndicate na they control everything. Grabe yan dati ha. As a practitioner, I can say for sure and I will not even, meron dyan yung isang fraternity na pupunta doon sa DOJ pagka 5 o'clock PM na and then aayusin na yung mga yung mga kaso para maglalagayan na sila doon. Grabe. As in,
Grabe.
sobrang
Grabe, no?
alamak and sobrang shameless.
Lantaran
Lantaran talaga. Alam mo,
I heard the
I'm
same
not
thing
gonna
in
say
other
na
departments. I heard in
Oo.
almost every department, I know someone, they said exactly the same thing. Like talagang babuyan daw yung level.
Eh tayo pareho, hindi tayo Marcos, di ba? Pero siguro dahil sobrang baba ng standard, ngayon parang wow, ang laki ng improvement. Di ba? Ang laki talaga ng improvement, pero sobrang sama.
Come on.
After that,
Busog kasi yung mga Marcoses. They have enjoyed it for now. Ito kasi, gutom eh.
Correct.
Very
Gutom.
gutom. Talagang, like, went for it.
Sorry I'm gonna say this in a position of privilege, pero hindi nga gutom eh. Patay gutom. Yung para bang ngayon lang tayo nakaramdam ng kapangyarihan, ubusin na natin lahat. Parang ganun yung feeling ko talaga sa
I think there's a worse term, tigang. I think it's more at that level. It's next level. Yeah, next level yung nangyari.
Hindi ako nakakita nung grabe yung Davao Group, Davao Syndicate talaga. And parang talagang mauubusan. That's my term. Parang mauubusan na parang ngayon lang tayo nakahawak ng kapangyarihan, mauubusan. Kaya sabik na naman makabalik, di ba? I mean, number one si Sara dati sa surveys. Hindi na ngayon masyado.
Dati.
Dati. Sa
Very old
surveys.
story na yan.
Hindi pa kayo makapag-antay sa pagbabalik ninyo. Hindi na sanay na wala sa poder. Tapos kasi nga, medyo gutom. Tigang.
Yeah.
Pati gutom. Parang ganun yung feeling ko doon sa kanila. Parang shameless talaga.
Garapalan.
Binaboy. Walang pakialam. Tapos walang boundary. Walang boundary. Yung sa mga Marcoses kasi, again, I'm not pro Marcos, pero may a little bit of shame eh. Pagka binilad mo yung kalokohan nila, magde-deny, tapos at the very least, tatakpan, tapos magpe-press release, hindi, statesman kami, hindi kami magnanakaw, we want for the nation. Ito, pag binilad mo sila sa'yo, walang pake.
Walang pake.
Sorry. Ganun sila, mabuburahe ka. Puta, yun lahat. Ganyan eh. So talagang yung, I think, the biggest weapon lagi always that we have to take a look at on our official shame. May sense of shame.
Walang shame, nakakatakot. Nakakatakot ang tao na walang shame. No, seriously.
Lahat ng kinuha ng Dutertes, walang sense of shame.
I mean,
mga cabinet nila, walang sense of shame. Ang daming walang sense of shame. Meron ba ngilan-ngilan? I don't wanna always generalize. Pero siguro 60-70% of the people I've encountered during the Duterte administration, laging sa presidente yan, laging si president, laging si Bongo, walang sense of shame. Can't decide for themselves. Laging i-refer Bongo, kahit na hindi maganda yung decision, Bongo, Duterte. That's it. Yun yung nagde-decide kahit na hindi talaga reasonable. Kahit na mas matalino sila, alam nilang mali, they will kowtow because walang sense of shame eh. Hindi nahihiya. Hindi katulad, di ba, yung mga kilala naman natin na hindi ko talaga kaya anong muka ihaharap ko. Kahit na ikaw mas mataas sa akin, I'd rather resign. I really cannot do that. Walang ganun eh. 60-70% siguro of the appointees parang feeling ko ganun yung assessment ko nung time na I was practicing during Duterte's
I
administration.
mean, no offense, Dino. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who joined who were the adults in the room. Secretary Lorenzana, our fellow Ilocano, I respect a lot among others. But a lot of people who joined there, obviously it was not based on merit or conscience. It was based on something else. So I'm totally not surprised. I have friends who disappeared during Digong's time. I thought in-unfriend ako. And then ma-meet ko after a few years and sabi nila, alam mo, in-unfriend kita kasi nag-join ako sa Digong admin, hiyang-hiya ako sa inyo. Na pag malaman ko ma-cancel niyo ako. And then kinuwento daw yung grabing corruption na hindi niya daw kaya. And then nung nagsalita siya, tinireten siya. Para mafia yun, di ba? You come in, there's no way out, di ba? So, ipit siya ngayon. Di siya makalabas. So, sabi ko, yun talaga yung downside. I mean, maybe among others, the first year of Digong, at least the first few months, they were really reaching out to me kasi, di ba, medyo may profile na ako international. And I was trying to show the method to the madness, di ba? Without denying the madness. But I'm so happy I always kept that. No, like, ayoko sirayan yung future ko, di ba? Like,
Buti na lang, Richard. Buti na lang, my
Saka,
goodness.
bro, greasy. I mean, like, bro, alam mo yung feel na you walk into a place, you know this is not for you, right? Parang, am I watching a movie? Like, these are exactly like those. Kaya Narcos yung favorite movie series ko nung panahon ni Digong kasi documentary siya sa akin eh. So I'm very proud that wala sa atin batch, wala sa atin peers ay sumali sa administration. I remember though, correct me if I'm wrong, Harry Roque wanted one of the debaters, I think from UP.
Yes!
Tapos na-pass siya.
I spoke with that debater in Makati.
Lahat nagalit sa kanya, di ba?
Oo. And he was an associate. He was an associate in one of the biggest firms. We saw each other in Makati. I go, please don't. I heard you're doing this. Please don't do this. 1 hour kami. I'm telling you, it's not gonna be the same. You will ruin yourself. You're too young because he's younger than us. Buti na lang hindi niya ginawa. I'm so thankful. Yeah.
So nag-work. Nag-work yung peer pressure natin. Oh.
A little bit. Tsaka talagang, imagine mo, nakita ko siya, talagang inupo ko siya. Hindi kami super close kasi si younger. Diba? Time dalawa pa, mas nag-uusap nung debate contemporary. Hindi na eh. Hindi natin siya super contemporary. Diba? He's way younger. Pero talagang sabi ko, halika mag-usap tayo. Tapos usap kami, 1 hour. Umalis na yung mga fellow associates ko. Nagtutuos pa kami na, don't you dare do it. Alam mo, feeling ko, Richard, it's sabihin ng mayabang, di ba? Pero meron rin kasi tayong a little bit of, because of our training, because of the community we came in, meron kasi tayong a little bit of intellectual standard eh. The feeling natin pag pumasok tayo.
Snobbery. I think you said snobbery.
A little bit snobbish, di ba?
Yeah,
Pero pag
yeah.
pagpasok mo dito na mo yung mga kasama mo, tapos sila yung nasusunod, parang hindi kaya yung same. Kasi and tayo, that because of our training and our background, we are always convinced with arguments. Intellectual discussions. Mag-argue tayo till kingdom come hanggang hapon, gabi, magkaibigan pa rin tayo, mag-iinuman tayo after, di ba? But ultimately, hindi natin pe-personalin yun. Sa kanila kasi, ang ninipis ng balat, the moment na may intellectual discussion ka, akala nila, how dare you question my authority? Di ba? Tapos, they will try to, pinipersonal nila, tapos pe-personalin ka na rin, tatanggalin ka na rin. Tapos you're always, di ba? Kaya you will choose na manahimik lang. Kaya I think hindi tayo sumali kasi meron din mga trying to recruit us, di ba? Meron din mga ganyan, pero parang, no way. Meron akong konting standard naman of the kind of environment and
My taste.
my taste. Sorry na ha, pero siguro yun yung reason why I really can't. Hindi ko kaya kasi parang yung mga kasama mo, di ba? Parang, hindi yata kasi
Dino, just to be clear, we have nothing against folks in Davao. Davao is a fantastic city. I had great times.
Correct.
Hey, the Davao friend. We're just talking about the Digong club. Kasi minsan na-heard mga ibang kababayan natin, they think it's us making comment. No, this is not about Davao. This is about the Digong circle. I
agree with you a little bit.
From Davao.
I agree with you a little bit. I'm not generalizing everyone in Davao, pero I would like to say though that a lot of you were enablers of that Digong club. And I think it's high time for you to
Hey, I cannot hear you. Hello. Kasi
I'm
kailangan
gonna call
mo
a
balik.
spade. Oo,
I see what you're
ano, just because he's one of you, masyado kayo regionalistic, eh, 'di ba? He's one of you. Ang dami nating debaters nagtutuos kami sa Messenger at the backside. They were convincing me to vote for Digong. I was one of the most vocal na
Oh,
campaigning against
wow.
Digong during that time. Kasi sinasabi, hindi ganyan lang naman yan, foul mouth lang yan, pero mabait
Yeah,
talaga
yeah,
yan. Sabi,
yeah.
hindi ko kaya.
Nag-apologist sila, apologist. Oh, I ko yun.
Apologists. And these are a lot of the debaters in our community na I also respect and contemporaries
We
natin,
didn't do that for Marcos. We do it the
You
opposite.
didn't!
From
I
our
will never.
land. Yeah, we
I'm
never do that for
Ilocano.
Marcos. Yeah.
I'm never gonna do that. I don't even apologize for Pinoy. Alam mo yun? Yung mga sinasabi ni Pinoy na mga hindi
Yun din.
okay, I don't
Yun
know
din.
those.
Exactly,
I
exactly.
didn't vote for Bar Rojas even though Pinoy endorsed him. Di ba? Hindi tayo blind followers. So I'm just saying na well, I don't want to generalize people from Davao. I just want to say that a lot of you are enabling these people na talagang sobrang murderous, magnanakaw, and a lot of them sisirain yung opposition. I understand na may qualms kayo sa opposition, pero kung may qualms sila sa opposition, they don't have to enable something like Duterte. Davao can produce better leaders than the Dutertes. And I saw there, that's where I debated in the grand finals of the National Debate
Oh,
Championship.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, oo nga
For
pala.
the
Good
first
vibes
time.
ka pala. Yeah. Sabi,
Yeah, so
Justice
I love
Carpio.
Davao.
Justice Carpio is
Okay.
from Davao. I mean, just to put things in
Correct.
context, yeah. Well, Dino,
I
I
love
say the
Davao.
same thing. I say the same. Marcoses are not the best that our lands have produced. My goodness, ang dami matatalino lumabas from Ilocos. The
Correct.
frustration is bakit Marcos is ang best known. They're not our best representative. So, the same way for no, ako actually, I don't see it only in Davao. There's a Mindanao thing behind the Dutertes. To a certain degree, there's also a Bisaya kind of a, the sense that they were ignored, the sense na hindi sila pinakinggan. But I said, don't shoot the messenger. I'm also anti-Manila. I'm from Baguio, right? Inis din kami sa mga taga Manila, di ba? So I think a lot of misfiring, a lot of channeling of frustration and grievance, na-exploit yan and na-weaponize ng Dutertes. They manipulated those grievances. Doon na, con artist talaga.
Kahapon lang, while I was walking around dito sa New York, naisip ko rin parang na-exploit yung sama ng loob, galit ng mga tao. Kasi talaga namang pagod sila. Imagine mo, I'm a commuter. I don't know if one of the cases that I filed is, have you heard of it, yung Equal Protection Clause Challenge sa City of Mandaluyong? Bawal kasi dalawang lalaking nakamotor.
Yeah.
That's my case. It's called De Leon versus Mandaluyong. Kasi I questioned it.
Kala ko
Nahuli ako kasi
Christopher De Leon yun. Mga artista
Kasi-
ka sa pangalan
Nahuli ako na nakamotor because during that time I had 4 jobs. I was in-house counsel in Ortigas. I was had a law firm. I was Lila's counsel already and had a business, a food franchising business. So I was
Kailangan mo mabilis, bike.
Oo, mabilis. Nagmamotor ako, talagang ang baho ng patilya mo, maghihiring ka, gusot-gusot yung barong mo, pero that's fine. No? Nahuli ako dun sa Anti-Riding in Tandem Ordinance. I challenge it sa Equal Protection Clause Challenge. Pero bottom line is, pumipila ka sa MRT 1.5 hours, 2 hours para lang makasakay. Iba pa yung travel. Diba? Every single freaking day. So talagang kung galit, ang dali talaga exploit dun Pero sana, sabi nga nila, di ba, yung what separates us from everyone else is the fact that we can control our emotions. Di ba tayo animals, di ba? And we can rationalize and hopefully wag tayo magpadala dun sa pag-exploit nila. Kasi yung nahanap nila lagi, mag-exploit sila ng takot mo, mag-exploit sila ng intense emotion mo, takot ka sa krimen, di ba? Para sabihin nila kami mag-wipe up ng krimen. Pero never gave a plan, by the way. Rodrigo Duterte never gave a single freaking plan on how he intends to end crime and
Pero may deadline siya, 6 months. At sabi niya, barilin natin siya pag di niya nagawa.
Pero alam mo, in-exploit niya yung galit tsaka yung takot nating lahat And dapat hindi tayo papayag na kasi para tayong tinatratong animal. Aso, di ba? Parang or whatever, aso nga. Marami mag-add sa akin, pet lovers. Pero yung in-exploit lang yung emotions mo para to do your whim.
Base
diba?
instincts. Like
Correct.
bad leaders exploit your base instincts. Good leaders appeal to the greater nature, angels of your nature, diba? Doon mo makita who's the good leader, who's the bad leader. At sabi ko parati palang con artisto, lahat ng mga 6 months federalism. I have many friends and family who voted for Digong and they say to me, Richard, believe na believe kami sa'yo. Talagang kalokohan lang ng sinabi niya all those years. Sabi ko, you never know. Pero sabi niya, pero pro Marcos ka, di ba? Like, ayan na naman tayo Sige, hintayin natin. Balikan niyo ako in 4 years. Let's see kung magaling si BBM. Ayun na naman sabi ko, hindi na to tumalon sa kabila agad.
Well, sa West Philippine Sea, sasabihin ko na,
Yeah, I mean, of course.
layo.
Marcos,
Layo.
but Dino, even the father was good on West Philippine Sea. Marcos Sr. was also good on West. So actually, he's just following his dad in that. Kaso, ibang. But Dino, let's go back to this. I really appreciate this discussion. Let's go back to this. So now with Leila De Lima, thank you, by the way, for the great segue. Return of Duterte's. Now that De Lima has been fully legally vindicated, as we have been saying to everyone, BS lang mga cases laban sa kanya. I was disappointed with some people na parang, pero baka naman. Alam mo yung mga ganon, na-hurt ako. Sabi ko, we know that this is BS. Come on. Walang bahid na duda. Kung talaga there was something with her all those years, Duterte pa, they will pin you down even if fake it. Wala talaga silang mahanap. But anyway, now that she's completely exonerated, ang question is, what's next? Without putting yourself into trouble. Or maybe you want to put yourself in trouble with Ma'am Lenny. Ma'am Leila. Maybe Lenny too. I don't know.
Alam niya namang mahal ko siya lagi, di ba? Alam mo ang maganda kay Ma'am, when I was appointed as spokesperson, never ako binigyan ng script, never told me what to do, never told me ano sasabihin ko sa stage, never.
Magaling
Not
ka
a single instance.
Magaling ka eh.
Not a single instance. And sabi ko, and I volunteered for the last 7 years. I'm a volunteer, by the way. I don't get paid for this. I if anything, I even use my own personal resources. No? Para lang malinaw tayo dyan. I will not stake my integrity as a person, di ba? Right from the very start, I took care of. If feeling ko, hindi, may kasalanan talaga siya. It's just really was an abuse of the justice system. Pero remember, one of the things, sabi ko, isang beses ko lang siya nakita umiyak. Hindi ko siya nakita umiyak nung there was an assassination attempt against her inside prison. Remember?
Kinuwento niya sa akin eh, na akala niya wala na. Yung
Correct.
ano yata, yung terrorist, Abu Sayyaf yata yun.
Yes, Abu Sayyaf. Pero ako, I always call it a spade, as you know, as you know, di ba? So, very clear sa akin assassination attempt kasi pagpasok mo sa pagpapasok ka sa Camp Crame, meron yang gates.
Yeah, I
So,
visited her. Na-visit ko siya doon. Yeah, I
Oo,
visited.
di ba? So, ilang gates yun pinagsunod? At minimum of 2. Tapos meron pang gate ulit yung quarters niya. Hindi ka
Exactly,
nakapasa
di ba?
quarters.
Parang, what are the chances, right? Like,
What are
sobrang
the chances na
probabilistic.
bukas lahat ng pinto, kutsilyo lang ang dala, wala rin yung mga guards. And then yung mga taong yon, sumuko yun kay Sara Duterte through the assistant director of CIDG na who was at that time, I think, is the custodial center head. Bottom line is, for me, it's very clear that pinakawalan yung mga yon. Tapos sa custodial center mismo, buti na lang may nagmamahal kay Ma'am na talagang mga guards kasi ang tagal na alam na inosente, tumakbo, na barel, di ba? Tapos nung binaril siya, dito yung kutsilyo sa puso niya, nag-Muslim na daw nagdasal na ng Muslim.
Oh,
Di ba?
wow.
Tapos, ma'am, pasensya ka na, papatay na kita sa dasal na Muslim. Humingi ng tubig, ewan ko kung part of the ritual nila na inom ng tubig before you do. Tapos, nung na siya, binaril, nag-splatter yung dugo kay mama. When she was blindfolded, hinatak siya sa ground. Grabe. So tapos after that, doon pa rin siya natulog sa same room kasi ayaw niya iwanan yung mga pusa. Yan, sabi namin na Teddy, kasi ma'am, medyo, ano ba? Di ba?
At next level na. Medyo.
level.
Whoa.
At tapang talaga. And then, alam mo, sabi ko, nasa US ako nun. Sabi ko, hindi ko siguro mapapatawad yung sarili ko kung may nangyari sa kanya. Tapos kinakabahan talaga, the worst feeling, mas worse pa dun sa break night party or ano ba yun, mag-aantay ka kung nakapasok ka na grand final. So hindi. Yung waiting moment na inaantay mo kung buhay or patay. Kasi alam na namin may hostage taking. Hindi namin alam kung buhay or patay. At that point, that was the worst feeling ever. So anyway, the reason why I'm sharing this is because sabi ko doon ko na-realize na baka may mission pa si Ma'am. Ako lang to being a little bit spiritual. Na parang sabi ko, hindi yata pwedeng na-purify ka for the last 7 years inside prison. Hindi ka natinag, hindi
sinabi niya.
you're consistent in your principles. Never siya not a single instance nagsabi na di na makiusap na tayo, hindi ko na kaya din sa loob. Never. Lagi yung sinasabi, maraming pinatay, we have to stand up for justice. Grabing ginawa nila sa akin, we will continue the fight. Kaya ang sarap na kliyente, hindi yung natitinag si Ma'am. Kaya hindi rin kami nag-give up until the end. So, I feel like, and sabi mo nga, whether I'm gonna get into trouble or not, I feel honestly like she still has a mission. And part of it
for gold. Yeah. Jesus Cudero said that, right? Senate President Jesus Cudero said,
Yeah.
And Cheese is being considered for education secretary. So baka mamaya may bakante pa dyan, no? But I mean, Cheese is a very astute politician. Why would he say that? Beside being Bicolanos, I don't think that's really the reason, right? I mean, definitely she was one of the best fiscalizers to make it to the Senate ever. I mean, let's not talk about Robin Hood Padilla or those types, but I mean, she's, di ba, parang inspired talaga siya by Jovito Salongas, yun yung level na hinahabol niya, di ba?
It's 700 bills and resolutions, imagine, while in prison. In all the issues, not a single issue that matters to us, never siya walang stand. Through her handwritten dispatches. Tapos, was able to pass the most important bills, the Magna Carta for Magna Carta for the Poor, Senior Citizens Commission Act, di ba? For peace, na nakikinabang yung mga poorest of the poor. Laila de Lima passed all of those law while in prison. So feeling ko talaga may mission pa. Hopefully, naintindihan ko naman napagod, di ba? Nakakapagod yun 7
You
years.
need to recover. I mean,
And
she's still
hindi,
young naman eh. I mean, she's still young if she doesn't run this cycle and she runs the next. Ang point ko is, she has to be in the political conversation at the very least.
And ano ko ang ano talaga, ang hesitation niya talaga is money kasi never nagdakaw eh. Di ba? Never, di ba? Ako pa nga sabi ni VP Lenny, naalala ko nung collection, Dino, saan ka pupunta? Ba't aalis ka na? Ma'am, magkakabit pa ako ng poster dun sa next town para ako mismo nagkakabit dun sa taas ng stage bago magsalita kasi dadalawa lang kami. Right? Sabi niya, bakit ikaw pa yan? Ikaw nga yung, kasi pag surrogate ka, you're like the candidate, di ba? Ikaw nga, imagine mo sila, hindi mo akit to stage, naglalagay. Sabi, hindi pwede. Pero ganun kami kanipis ng mga oras na yon. Pero, ang ano ko lang is, pwede siguro, I don't know kung tatakbo si ma'am ng 2025 or hindi. Ang honest assessment ko lang for me, kung ako masusunod is, I feel like it's time because if there's gonna be 3 Duterte in the Senate, there has to be a Laila de Lima there. 12 naman yan. There has to be a Laila de Lima there who will look them in the eye and say, hindi nyo ako kinaya in the past. Tigilan nyo ako, di ba? Na parang, pinakulong nyo na ako before, I have nothing to lose. I will not let you pass, di ba? I think there has to be more fiscalizers there. And understand that the terrain right now is so difficult. But in the end, di ba? Sabi ko, we don't do things naman just to win, di ba? And Laila de Lima didn't do that na nakulong for 7 years para manalo, di ba?
Yeah, she
Para
never
sa kanya,
knew
it's
she will even make it out, diba? She never knew if she'll ever make it out. So
correct. So it's not about, for me, as we always say, even though the ultimate side, diba? It's not all about winning. Diba? It's about doing things the right way, diba? And I feel like, sana, ako, sabi ko ay ma'am, I think dapat at the very least run because the conversation about what they did to you, the importance of the justice system and all your stands must be there in the conversation. And the best thing to do that is to have the platform of running. Kasi pakikinggan ka eh, di ba? It will be in the political discussion in the most important midterm elections, di ba? Probably of our lives, di ba? Kasi babalik yung mga Duterte. So I feel like the conversation has to be there. And as a principal, she can only do that as a principal, not as a Miron or as Saling Pusa or as Saling Kitkit. As a principal who's actually running and offering alternatives to the people. And whether, for me, whether she will win or lose is to me secondary, but hopefully she should win, di ba? Sana naman ma-redeem na ng mga Pilip natin yung electorate, yung ano, or kung di ba, kung ayaw man nila magpa-convince, sana naman gawin naman nilang diverse yung Senate, hindi
i-balance
puro
nila, di ba?
loyalty lang. Balansehin natin because that's the purpose of the Senate, di ba? It's a chamber for discussions of policies, which is why debate should happen there, which is why when they disagree with each other, that's good, right? Especially in the name of policy and not necessarily in terms of personality, di ba? Kung policy ang pinag-uusapan nila, may discussions na, that's good for democracy and hopefully, di ba, they will have some parang in their ballot, 12 naman yan, kahit na 3, 4, 5, iwan mo naman ng konti sa opposition just to balance it properly.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, obviously, my read is this is going to be the toughest Senate race. I don't even think Amy Marcos could make it. I mean, it's a very, very tough race. Parang bati sila mga Isko Moreno and all are reconsidering maybe run. I'm still not sure about Pacquiao. Although may mga wild surveys like the Okta survey showed na at least dalawa sa opposition ay pasok. And number 1 si Willie Ong. And isa lang Erwin Tulfo nakapasok at isa lang Duterte. So I don't know. You never know. It's too early. For me, definitely Leila has to be part of this conversation. Possibly, and probably I'll get the caption of this conversation of us to tag mom on Twitter about this para mapahamak ka. But last point on this, and I really enjoyed this, bro. No, I look forward to having these conversations in the future. If time and opportunity permits. but for the purpose of today, last part, in terms of the legal offensive, what do you think Lenny should do? Should she go against her? Well, nung sinabi ko tormentors, marami nag-comment, di buong Kongreso at Senate yan. Chief tormentors legally. And how will that potentially, or how would that potentially intersect with the ICC scenario if ever things push ahead as expected? Kasi pwede magsama-sama yan eh. And again, I think Leila de Lima could be a really articulate spokesperson for human rights and also for pushing against pushing for ICC's warrant of arrest.
Even when Leila de Lima was in jail, she actually was one of the few resource persons who submitted a complaint to the ICC. So she's actually one of the complainants. Hindi niya lang pinablish na gusto yan kasi didiinan lalo siya, baka patay sa loob ng kulungan. Di ba? So, pero she's one of the resource persons and one of the complainants who really submitted a communication with the ICC. No? So it's very clear naman, sabi niya, she will serve as a resource person. I think she's being invited in the House of Representatives right now. Di ba? And who else is the best person to take a look at yung human rights conditions but the one who really investigated genuinely the war on drugs during her stint as chairperson of the Committee of Justice in the Senate and at the same time as the chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights when the Davao Death Squad was still localized in Davao, no? So that's first. I feel like talagang crucial yung role ni Leila de Lima in terms of making sure that the people behind the war on drugs will pay, di ba? She will also, of course, we are right now, sabi ko nga nag-uunahan na kami yung mga lawyers. Akin tong taong to na idedemanda.
Don't tell me
yung
sa'yo yung ex-human rights lawyer na
mananagot din siya.
Justice Supranational.
Mananagot din siya. Ilang beses na. Hindi, tsaka hindi nagpapatinag. Alam mo, medyo na, yung shame, no? Talaga sabi ko kasi, ba't wala ng sense of shame?
Isa pa yan.
Isa pa yan. I'd be glad and I'd be happy to actually make sure that he will pay. It's just a matter of time. And sa akin, akala ka siguro nila hindi sila magbabayad dito sa lupa. Titignan pa, again, I'm a little bit spiritual. Kung sino man yung Diyos, titignan nila sa mata yung Diyos at sasabihin nila, proud ka ba sa ginawa mo? Sana matignan nila sa mata yung Diyos when the time comes. Di ba? Our time here on earth is just a dot, it's a speck compared to eternity, di ba? Sana matignan nila yung author ng eternity and say, proud ako sa ginawa ko. So going back, yeah, I would be happy to lead the prosecution against that former human rights kung sa akin ma-assign, no? Yung dating DOJ secretary definitely kasama. Hindi ko tatalikuran ng duty kung sakaling sa akin ma-assign yang si Rodrigo Duterte, but definitely nag-a-assign na kami right now. We're doing all the study and there's going to be a legal offensive. Why? Because even if Leila de Lima, sabi namin, ma'am, kahit napatawad mo yung mga yan, mas mababait ka sa amin, ha? Sabi ko sa kanya, ma'am, mas mabait ka sa akin. I said this, tawa na tawa si Senator Risa. Sabi niya, uy, ma'am, thank you for being, leading the battle in the Senate. Sabi nga doon. Sabi niya, hindi, may kasama pa ako. Ay, wala akong amor sa iba yung kasama na sinasabi niyo, ha? Bakit? Hindi ko nakakalimutan yung ginawa niya panahon ni Duterte. Ito naman, napatawad na nga siya ni Laila. Alam mo, sabi ko, ma'am, mas mabait sa akin si Laila, ha? Mas mabait sa akin si ma'am.
Actually, you never know, mas balaura pa yung mga nandun. Exactly, yeah.
Sabi ko, ma'am, kaya nga sabi ko, mas mabait sa akin si Sen Laila. So, Sen Laila recognizes as well that despite the fact na maybe napatawad niya yung mga yon, the battle is bigger than her.
Yeah,
and the reason why bakas kami sa kanya. Oo.
Kasi
Kaya
it's a
bumakas
crime
kami sa
against the
kanya.
Filipino nation. Yung kababuyan na ginawa nila is crimes against the whole constitutional democracy we have. So, ma'am can be Mandela if she wants, but we have to do what is right here on earth before they also pay the price in eternity.
Ganun. Saka maniningil talaga tayo. So laging sinasabi nga ni Teddy, yung lead counsel namin, sabi niya, ma'am, I understand that we're here for you and we're loyal to you. Pero the main reason why we're also doing this is because we know that the battery is bigger than you. Ginagano ni Teddy, si ma'am. Right? And the reason why bumakas kami sa'yo is because we know for a fact that there are bigger values out there, more important things than us. And we have to contribute to those greater things. And sa akin, ang greater thing dito is justice and accountability. So, definitely, and Senator Leila de Lima, naman natin, is on board. Kaya nga siya nagpakulong, di ba? She will extract accountability. And right now, I'm so excited to start the day of reckoning, di ba? Dapat lagi talagang, para makita rin nila na magbabayad ka. Magbabayad ka, winalang hiya mo yung taong bayan, winalang hiya mo yung justice system, winalang hiya mo yung demokrasya, winalang hiya mo yung Pilipinas. hindi pwede yun. There will be people who will make
But the
sure that
precedents, pare, the precedents, they said, yung kababuyan na ginawa nila gives a wrong idea. So they should pay a price for that para hindi na ma-tempt yung mga ibang walang iya.
Tapos sabi ko nga sige mayayabang kayo, hindi namin kayo matunton kasi possible naman na hindi matunton yung iba matatanda na, hindi na makulong. Pero, hindi kami titigil, 'di ba? Baka hindi namin kayo matunton pero again, there's always justice. Ako nga nagtataka ako minsan bakit ang tatapang niyo pa na ang tatanda niyo na, makikita niyo na yung totoong hustisya afterwards, 'di ba? Pero while you're here, we will not make it easy for you now, 'di ba? We will make sure na we will run after you. And kasama na dyan yung ex-human rights lawyer, kasama na dyan yung dating DOJ secretary, kasama na dyan yung mga agents of the DOJ na nagpagamit, nagmanufacture ng evidence, di ba? Kasama dyan yung mga, di ba, yung mga public attorney's office din na nagpumayag na sila yung kasangkapan na mag-execute ng mga judicial affidavits ng mga nasa preso. Kasama dyan lahat, di ba? And we gotta make sure that they violated their oath as lawyers, they violated their oath as public officials, and they gotta be held into account.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that probably some PR firms were also involved in some of the black troll operations and all of that. So maybe there has to be also accountability on that front. No, otherwise, yun nga, I mean, I think for Senator De Lima on a personal level, forgiveness is part of healing herself. And yung integrity ng kanyang pagkatao and dignity and all of that. But at the same time, I hope she also appreciates this is also about fighting for constitutional democracy and making sure these precedents will not be set and inspire yung mga ibang walang hiya in the future. On that note, thank you very much, Attorney Dino De Leon. Dino, thank you so much for this conversation. I really enjoyed it. I knew it was gonna be fun kasi mabilis tayong magsalita pareho. And that we feed off on each other's energy. Ako daw yung pinakamadaldal na host, and I said, "What host? I was never a host. It's a conversation."
Be a participant,
What
di ba?
host? I never interview anyone. It's always a conversation, right? It's my world, and you just live in it. All right? Okay.
It's nice to see you again, Richard. It
Bro,
took a while, but hopefully
brother.
we can have a beer again, di ba? And
God
hindi na
willing, God
break
willing.
time party na, di ba? And then we can discuss again what's happening, di ba? And then
Ikaw ba,
update each
Kapsat?
other.
Ikaw ba, Kapsat?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Yamanak.
Sigamet, thank you so much for your faith in our country, for making sure your faith in the Lord has inspired you to do the right thing, and thank you for sharing also your message. The responses are amazing here. People are super inspired. Mukhang natuwa sila yung sabi mo, I'll go after the ex-human rights lawyer. Supra level daw yan. Supra accountability ang kailangan dyan. And
Richard, meron akong isa lang, last na.
please go ahead, bro.
Meron akong isa-suggest na topic na maganda siguro. And then, parang maybe we should start discussing the next generation of leaders. Kasi alam mo, kulang ha. Wala. And lagi ko dinidiscuss yan sa mga contemporaries natin na parang, it takes a movement. It takes a movement to create the leaders that we need, the kind of leaders that we need. And we have to be contributing to that discussion. So maybe we should, how to build that, the next generation of leaders. I don't think na dapat sila lang, di ba? Yung personal. Dapat tayo magko-contribute tayo to build the kind of leader that we want and what should be our contributions, strengthening our political party, etc., etc. I think that's a huge discussion maybe in the next episodes, and I want to suggest that as one of the conversations that we should have.
No, I mean, not only next episode. I mean, this is my own little project, brother. I mean, I think us having these conversations is a reminder to people now, not only may pake kami, we have plans, we have blueprints for this country. Now, whether we're going to run for elected office, whether we're going to be in cabinet, whether we're going to be advisors to the next president, or who knows, diba? I'm just showing to everyone na there's this whole group of people, it just happens we're all debaters and from the same world na who cares about this country? We have one foot in the world, but our world is ultimately the Philippines. Our love and heart is ultimate in the Philippines. And I'm telling you, brother, if someone told me 2-3 years ago na by vlogging you'll get this level of love and respect and like genuine passion about our politics from people all around the world and people who listen. Kaya gusto ko tong time zone na to kasi pasok din ng Europe eh. Ang hindi lang pasok New Zealand eh. But even Australia nakakahabol dito. So this is like a perfect time for us around 9 to 10 p.m. because we have followers a lot from Europe also who, syempre they see yung Swedish model, social democracy, that's the gold standard, not US. And they want to see parts of that. So they hear about Vico Soto, they hear from young lawyers like you, they hear from young historians from them So for me, this is the best way we can give hope to our nation, to our kababayans. A lot of them want to come back to the country. Marami akong kausap, gusto na nila mag-invest ulit sa Pilipinas. Nung una, hindi sila naniniwala. Sabi ko, don't worry, PBM is not good or great, but it's gonna be way better than before. And I think now they're seeing where I'm coming from. But you're absolutely right. It will be even better and better if we actively contribute to the nation building. So as I said, the world changes not only by, force of personality and all, it also changes by power of ideas. And what we do here is really brainstorming and para tatak din sa mga tao na may mga millennials din. Kasi we're very underrepresented in politics, right? Yeah, I dated people who were like, the next day, I know, nasa member of parliament na bigla. Parang ang dali sa ibang bansa maging politiko. Sa atin, my goodness, the barriers are just too high financially and morally. Like, my God, the level of corruption, like, oh, I don't want to touch that. But eventually, we have to get down and dirty if we want to get this country together. Because if you leave it to the trapo millennials or Gen Z, wala na mangyayari sa ating bayan.
Yeah, so we need to discuss that. Kaya don't get tired of what you're doing. Sana you sustain this, di ba? From meta to deep dive ka na ngayon, di ba?
Oh, deep dive na kasi may mga...
Sabi sa'yo, I'm a fan. I'm watching, I'm listening to you, I'm watching you.
Thank you so much, Dino. I really appreciate it. Of course, what we also do on this show is we interview also our expert friends from all around the world. So later this week, we also want to have, hopefully, Senator Gatchalian to discuss Pogo. But we are also going to have a guest, another professor friend of mine from Singapore to discuss digital trade, economics. So yun, this is what we're trying to do, Dino. Globalize Philippine political discussions para may mga best practices din tayo from different parts of the world. Mabuhay ka, Dino, and have a lovely day. And ipapahamak
Richard.
Okay, itatag ko na si Ma'am Leila. Pakidagdag na yung slate ng opposition dyan. Actually, you were very convincing kasi ako, my immediate advice to anyone who asks my advice on the race is this is going to be the toughest one. So make sure you know what you're getting into. But I'll tell you what, I think you were very convincing na at the very least she should give it a shot, right? Now, let's figure out now how to make this work. But she definitely has to. And people have to be shamed. Like, make it a repentance elections. Because I think she never got the level of sympathy and understanding and benefit doubt she deserved. But salamat sa Diyos, she's still here. There's still a chance for redemption. On that note, thank you very much, Dino. Mabuhay ka and have a lovely day. And send my regards to your wife and loved ones. Talk to you soon, po.
Thank you.